Here we go then, ready for the start of round 19 of the championship. To say as well, Tom Chilton has got on the medium tyre from 9th on the grid. Daryl de Leon has got on the medium tyre. Significantly, there are three together on the medium tyre as well. Aidan Moffat, 14th on the grid. Tom Ingram, the championship leader, has gone for the medium tyre, 15th on the grid. And Ronan Pearson, the home hero, one of them, on the medium tyre as well, 16th on the grid. Ash Sutton has elected to go with the soft tyre from 12th on the grid. So here you go, the line-up like this on his 30th career pole position. His third of the season. Colin Turkington on pole in car number 20, the BMW. Number 40, Aaron Taylor-Smith alongside. Row 2, 33, Adam Morgan, and 32, Dan Rowbottom, who's on the medium. Row 3, 66, Josh Cook, and 11, Andrew Watson. Row 4, second in the championship, Jake Hill on the medium tyre, and in car 24, he's alongside 27, Dan Camish, who's fifth in the championship, fourth in the championship rather. Row 5, Tom Chilton, medium tyre, 9th on the grid in car 3, and 88, Mikey Doble rounds out the top 10. Watch out for Ash Sutton, the reigning champion, number 1 on the soft tyre, 12th on the grid, and number 80, Tom Ingram, the championship leader, 15th on the grid, further back than he's been from a qualifying race, qualifying since 2021. Here we go then, 24 laps of racing here at Knockhill, about to burst into life. Colin Turkington gets the race underway. Round 19 of the Quick Fit British Touring Car Championship. It's a really good start for Josh Cook from the third row of the grid, trying to get in on the action as well, but it's going to be Colin Turkington from Aaron Taylor-Smith, then Morgan, then Cook's gained a place. He's moved ahead of Dan Rowbottom on that medium tyre, so Rowboat down to 5th place behind Josh Cook, and Jake Hill has got ahead of Andrew Watson as well, so good start for him. And Ash Sutton, of course, is on the march already, trying to gain positions on this opening lap of the race in the number 1 Napa Racing UK car. They're coming to Clark for the first time. Out of the right-hander they come with Colin Turkington, Aaron Taylor-Smith in first and second. Third place then for Adam Morgan in the BMW, but the one to watch here is Josh Cook on the attack. He's up to 4th place already, Rob.
Yeah, Josh Cook was very, very quick off the start line. He was alongside the row in front by the time they were getting towards the braking area for Clark, so he'll be happy with that. Jake Hill as well, that's a great start for him. It was so important he got a couple of places off the line, but he's got ahead of Andrew Watson. His next target will be to try and close in on the Napa car ahead of him of Rowbottom.
Yeah, Dan Camish was pressurising Andrew Watson as they went into Duffer's Dip as well at the start of lap number 2, but Watson remains 7th. Camish remains in 8th place. Ash Sutton has gained a place, 1. He's up to 11th place. Tom Ingram has dropped a place down to 16th position. So out of the points at the moment, the top 15 score for Tom Ingram. Only one race this season has Tom Ingram not finished in the points. Ingram, though, is got a bit of breathing space here in terms of championship, because the driver that leads the race is only 6th in the championship, and that is Colin Turkington, who needs a really good weekend here after 2 disappointing weekends at Alton Park and at Croft, although he won one of the races there 2 weeks ago.
Andrew Watson and Dan Camish side by side as they approach the hairpin. Andrew Watson stays ahead of Dan Camish just as they exit the corner. Dan Camish moves to the right hand side of the road now, but he's got Ash Sutton coming steamrolling alongside him on the left hand side, and Ash Sutton goes up another position.
Yeah, and Rob Huff about to gain a place just behind in the second of the red and white Toyota Corollas. He's just squeezed through on Tom Chilton at the start of the lap. Got a better exit coming out of the hairpin, so that puts Huff up to 11th place there with the bright yellow wing mirrors on his red and white Toyota Gazoo Racing Run Toyota Corolla. Into Clark then on this 24 lap race comes Colin Turkington, just edging away from Aaron Taylor-Smith, who in turn is just pulling away a little bit now from Adam Morgan in 3rd place. But the one to watch on the march, of course, is Ash Sutton at 8th position now in the number 1 Napa Racing UK Ford Focus, ahead of his teammate Dan Camish. Dan will do well here to follow Ash Sutton, who's on one of his charging drives here, and he makes his way into the hairpin, and he's got to within a car length now of his next target, which is going to be Andrew Watson.
Yes, Ash Sutton in the number 1 car, one of the most exciting drivers to watch around Knockhill. He can take that car to places nobody else seems to be able to go, and he'll need to do that now as he chases down Andrew Watson. And if he can pass Andrew Watson, then his next target will be his championship rival Jake Hill. So everything to play for here for Ash Sutton. They're down through Butchers at the moment, up to the chicane, and Ash Sutton closing in as they go through the chicane on Andrew Watson. He's got about 4 or 5 car lengths to find, though.
Meanwhile, Colin Turkington controlling the pace at the head of the field. Morgan's had a better lap, I would say, on this lap in the 3rd place BMW. He's a little bit closer to the tail of the Vauxhall of Aaron Taylor-Smith, the Irishman, and still keeping an eye on the battle between the Toyota of number 11, Andrew Watson, in 7th, and the 2 chasing Napa Ford Focuses, Ash Sutton and Dan Camish. And then behind, the reinforcements coming for Andrew Watson, because Rob Huff, the 2012 World Touring Car Champion, already a race winner this year, is catching up in the number 12 machine. So he goes through next. Daryl De Leon has got Aidan Moffat breathing down his neck as they cross the line. The Cupra is in 13th. The Toyota of Moffat in 14th, so up into the points. And Sam Osborne is in 15th in the last of the point-scoring positions.
Yes, Aidan Moffat in 14th position, which I think is where he started. Ronan Pearson has dropped a couple of places down to 18th at the moment, but we'll see if he can fight through from there.
Yeah, and Jake Hill on the medium tyre doing a good job here. Gained a place at the start of the race, so he's in 6th. So the 2 best cars in terms of the medium tyre, the less quick tyre, the option tyre, are Rowbottom in 5th place and Hill in 6th place. But they'll be in a really strong position if they can stay 5th and 6th, because they'll be on the better tyre compared to everybody else in the top 10, the soft tyre, come race 2. So working out that strategy at the moment for those 2. One's gained a place, one's dropped back a couple of positions, Rowbottom, but he's looking at the race 2 victory potentially. Ash
Sutton is gaining on Andrew Watson. He's about half the gap over the last couple of laps, and within a car length and a half as they exited turn 3 at McIntyre's. Down the hill to Butchers they go. Ash Sutton leading Dan Camish still in pursuit of Andrew Watson's Toyota, but desperately needing to get past that Toyota if he wants to get after Jake Hill. And Jake Hill, of course, is on the medium tyres. If Ash Sutton on the softs can get past Watson, then he could have a serious chance of chasing after Jake Hill.
Keeping an eye on that gap from 2nd to 4th, because not only has Taylor Smith got Adam Morgan to deal with, but also Josh Cook, who looks as just as quick, if not a little bit quicker than both of them. So they go through. Turkington does a 51.8, a 51.8 as well for Taylor Smith, a 52.0s for Morgan and Cooks on that lap. Taylor Smith just fractionally pulls away in the Vauxhall, looking good there. And Tom Ingram, meanwhile, is onto the case of Aidan Moffat, looking to get himself up into the points as they go barrelling into Duffers Dip. He looks down the inside. He's very brave on the brakes. They both are. And there's contact between them. More contact between them coming out of the corner. And that means that onto the grass goes the championship leader. He's going to lose 3 more places as a result of that. He's going to tuck in behind Scott Sumpton. So he's well out of the points now. And there's a bit of smoke coming from the front left corner of the Hyundai. Has he potentially got a puncture or a deflating tyre? Or is it just bodywork rubbing on the front left? But that's not looking good for Tom Ingram.
Yeah, there was contact there between himself and Moffat, so I hope it's just body rub and it'll wear off after a few laps, but he may have to come in and change that tyre. Meanwhile, ahead of them we've got that's Sam Osborne, yep, making up a place. Yep.
Yeah, gaining a place. Going well, Sam Osborne in this race, isn't he? The 4th of the Napa Racing Ford Focuses. Behind, Ronan Pearson going side by side with Aidan Moffat as well as they come across the start-finish line. Ronan's got one of the onboard cameras for ITVs on the outside line for Duffers. You'd be brave to try and go around the outside of Aidan Moffat. He's one of the last of the late breakers, and Aidan just about keeps him at bay. So good scraps going on at the tail end of the points. A replay, meanwhile, of that contact between Moffat and Ingram, which saw Ingram losing 3 places and with some damage to the front left of the Hyundai.
The gap between Watson and Sutton was down to 0.3 of a second the last time they crossed the line. They're into the hairpin now. Sutton has forced Watson to go defensive. That will slow Watson down through the corner. Through the apex they come, and Ash Sutton beautifully positioned just behind Watson in the slipstream. But coming through behind all of that group is Rob Huff. He was the quickest of all through the hairpin. I thought he was going to take a run at Camish there, but he's had to pop back into the slipstream. But those 4 getting closer and closer together. Something's going to give soon.
The car in front is a Toyota. The car behind is a Toyota. In between them, 2 Ford Focuses. Great scrap going on here between 4 top-rated drivers. Just about to come up over the brow into the chicane. 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th. Riding right up the curbs and onto 2 wheels is Ash Sutton. Dan Camish, to a lesser extent, does the same behind. But you're absolutely right, Rob. Rob Huff there, just behind them in the number 12 Toyota. That looks quicker than all 3 of them.
Yep, down they come through his lops down towards the hairpin once again, and Rob Huff goes side by side with Camish. Rob Huff on the outside, Camish will have the inside for the hairpin, but can Rob Huff get across in front of him? He's going to have to sit it out round the outside line. Camish gives him just enough room with a millimetre to spare, and Rob Huff will have his nose in front as they cross the tiny beam, but Camish is coming back at him, and Camish will have the advantage as they go to turn 1, but will Rob Huff be brave enough to sit it out round the outside? We'll find out in a second. Yes, he is. Side by side down towards Leslie's. Rob Huff has the inside inside for Leslie's. He's still battling. Camish has the inside for McIntyre's, and he defends it, but he goes well into two wheels, and Huff sneaks through. Fantastic bit of driving from both of them, actually, and Huff gets through upper position as they two-wheel through the chicane, and we can breathe again. But that's let the two ahead of them get way in front, and Watson has been passed by Sutton and immediately repasses Sutton, so it's all kicking off in that group of four now.
Fantastic, yeah, through Clark. Sutton nosed in front, but ran wide coming out of the corner. So Watson in the number 11 red and white Toyota, an Northern Irish driver getting himself back up into 7th place. So Sutton in 8th, 9th place after that great move. Rob Huff, brave stuff from Rob. Remember, this is only his 2nd full season in the British Touring Car Championship. The other one was 20-odd years ago. Then he went off to become a World Touring Car Champion in the meantime. It's great to have Rob Huff back, and Sutton throws one down the inside all the way into the right-hander at the foot of the hill, but he can't quite squeeze through at McIntyre's. At Butchers, he has to back off, and he remains behind Watson as they go over the crest and through the chicane. So that was a big lunge, and it almost worked. Watson is having to work really hard, isn't he, to keep that Ford behind him?
He's doing a fantastic job, actually.
Ingram into pit lane.
Yep.
Oh, right,
Thanks,
yeah.
Alan.
Front left they're looking at, so we suspected maybe a slow puncture. That's what they're looking at, Alan.
Yep, and as that battle continues down the hairpin, Andrew Watson did a fantastic job of defending from Ash Sutton. Andrew Watson has a background, as there's contact between them coming out the hairpin there, and Andrew Watson just nudged sideways a bit, but he's still hanging on to that position. Watson used to long distance endurance racing. That's his very successful career prior to touring cars. This is a bit of a difference, having to fight like this in a short duration race, but Ash Sutton all over the back of them as they head down through Leslie's now in towards McIntyre's. Watson has to go defensive again. Sutton's quicker through the corner, but he just can't quite get past.
Remember, whatever happens in this race, Tom Ingram will still be the championship leader, but the results of this race set the grid for race 2, so he's going to lose a lot of his advantage and going to have to start near the back of the grid for race 2.
And Sutton's through. Sutton passed Watson halfway between the chicane and Clark Corner. He was quicker through the chicane, gave him the momentum, and Sutton at last has passed Andrew. Oh, in fact, that's Rob Huff that's in there. How did that happen? Have we lost Andrew Watson?
No, Ross is still there.
He's had a straight-on moment over the grass, very high speed.
Yeah, he just lost the back end, oversteered, went onto the grass, getting a replay on the big screen. Somehow saved it. Did a bit of proper rallying there. It was great car control. He wiped out one of the advertising holdings on the way back onto the track. But yeah, just oversteered right across the track, onto the grass on the other side, wrestled with the car and got back on, but has lost a few places as a result. Now look at Jake Hill. He has been nibbling away to try and get himself onto the tail of Dan Robotham. This is the battle for, if you like, the medium tyre class lead, because they're both on the medium tyre. Turkington, Taylor, Smith, Morgan and Cook ahead of them, all on the soft. The battle for 5th. Nose to tail almost as they come up to the Taylor's hairpin. The BMW takes a lunge though from a long way back, and he's gone for it. He was a good car length and a half back, but the brave stuff from Jake Hill just fires one down the inside, and that is the sign of a driver who is going for every point he could get, as he's done all year long. He's going for the moves because he wants to win this championship. He doesn't want to be third again like he was last year. He wants to win it, and that was a great move, wasn't it, from Jake Hill?
Yep, and I think Tingram is out the race. Tom Ingram is out of the car.
He is out of the car, he's in the garage, and I've put my big boy pants on.
Yep. Yes, that is a shock, and it'll be a shock to Tom as well, as accident damage there curtailing his race, but he's got a lot of work to do when we get to race 2 then. But Jake Hill is working hard at the moment. He's up to 5th position, as you mentioned. He's got about 2 seconds to find out to catch Josh Cook in the 66 car ahead of him. Meanwhile, Ash Sutton will be trying to catch Rowbottom, but there's about a 4-second gap between Sutton and Rowbottom. So these battles will kind of develop over the next 3 or 4 laps. We've got 11 laps or 10 laps to go now. We're just past the half distance point.
Yeah, so with Jake Hill now moving up to 5th place, that's going to deliver the BMW driver 11 points. He's 21 behind at the start of the race, so he's now only going to be 10 points behind Tom Ingram, and Ash Sutton is going to be within 20 points of Tom Ingram as well.
So this is quite unusual, because normally when Tom has a disappointment, he remains inside the garage and watches the screen. So I've come over to to see if I was going to get a word with him, but on this occasion I can't find him anywhere, which generally suggests that he's gone to the back of the garage and into the transporter.
Yeah, to try and calm down a bit as Adam Morgan gets very close in the battle for second to the tail of the Astra of Aaron Taylor-Smith. The inside line is covered, so goes to the outside. He got a much better run coming out of Clark, and the number 33 BMW is all over the back now of the number 40 Vauxhall Astra. He goes right, he weaves left, there's no gap, so he goes alongside, he goes on the outside. They're absolutely together now as they head together into Duffus Dip in the battle for second. Taylor-Smith's got the inside line though, and he should and does fend off the BMW, but Adam Morgan right with him, and this is bringing Josh Cook into the game as well in the Toyota Corolla just behind. So up into the chicane in a moment, second, third and fourth all together.
Yep, and then Jake Hill's not too far behind him, but this is a fantastic three-car battle now for second position as they head towards Clark Corner. Still the advantage with the rapid Vauxhall of Aaron Taylor-Smith. He is driving his socks off this weekend, doing a fantastic job holding that BMW at bay, and Morgan must be aware as he sits with the hybrid switched on there of Josh Cook behind him in the 66 car, a menacing presence as they head into the hairpin once again.
Colin Turkington on course for his 71st victory in the British Touring Car Championship. He'd love to win a couple of races today. He's certainly got the pace to be able to do so. He needs to play catch-up, having dropped to 6th in the championship over the last couple of rounds with some contact and some bad luck along the way as well. Clutch issue off the line in the first race at Alton Park meant he had to start at the back of the grid for race 2, came storming through there, then in race 3 had some contact, picked up somebody else's crash, then had contact with Tom Ingram in race 3 at Croft.
Ingram back into the garage. I politely sort of went over and said, is it probably best that I don't talk to you now? He said, well, probably not, no. Probably. He was really lovely, and he's just really disappointed and doesn't really feel like talking at the moment, but that is understandable.
Absolutely right.
Yep.
Sorry, Rob.
I was going to say, great shame for him to lose points in this opening race, but hopefully he'll recover in the next two. Meanwhile, we're watching Aaron Taylor-Smith still managing to hold off Adam Morgan in the 33 car just as they go onto the Beatsons Bridge once again.
He weaves it left and right again, does Adam Morgan, fires the BMW over the curves. That's the quicker of the two, certainly, coming out of the hairpin and into turn 1. And now is there an opportunity on the run into Butchers. He gets side by side for second place. They're going to be absolutely together as contact. The BMW goes through, and he's followed by Josh Cook, and suddenly demoted off the podium from second down to fourth is Aaron Taylor-Smith.
I've never seen 3 full-size cars. I've seen Legends, so I've never seen 3 cars go through side by side through the chicane and all 3 come out the other side. That's amazing skill by all 3, and it's Morgan, of course, that ends up with the advantage after that.
Yeah, the BMW is a rather big car as well, isn't it? So Adam Morgan determined to get through there. Proper touring car racing this. Taylor-Smith's not interested in fourth. He wants third back at least. And he's now weaving over the back of Josh Cook. He's having to go a bit defensive there in the yellow and grey Corolla run by the Speedworks team. And the pink wing mirrors on the car glisten in the sunshine as he goes into the braking zone and just about fends off the Vauxhall of Aaron Taylor-Smith. So including this lap, we've got 6 to go. Yeah,
and all of that squabbling has brought Jake Hill within 1.4 seconds of that battle. He was way back behind them. Now he's just about in sight of them.
Tom Chilton's not having a great race. Not been a great day for Bristol Street Motors so far, has it, with Tom Ingram's retirement? Chilton has just dropped to 14th behind Chris Smiley. He's on the medium tyre, and he's actually the third best placed of the drivers on the medium tyre, Tom Chilton, so he's looking at better results later in the day. But Smiley going well again for Restart Racing. He got his first Independence Class win of the season and the team's first Independence Class victory at Croft. And the former BTCC race winner is returned to the championship in 13th place now. 14th is Chilton, and Daryl De Leon is hanging on for a championship point in 15th.
Yeah, Sutton is gradually catching Rowbottom. Sutton, reigning champion, car number 1 in 7th position, chasing his teammate Dan Rowbottom, 32, who's in 6th, and is now just 1.67 seconds behind him, having been almost 4.5 seconds down just a few laps ago.
3 of the Napa drivers, Camish, Rowbottom and now Osborne, have all got warnings for track limits. No penalties yet. Ronan Pearson had one as well a couple of laps ago, so they're all warnings. They've got to be a little bit careful in the last 4 and a bit laps of the race. Ash Sutton just launching it over the curbs again in 7th place. He'll be pretty satisfied to be 7th from 12th on the grid and catching up to the championship leader as well. Adam Morgan and Josh Cook have now just started to leave behind Aaron Taylor-Smith, so 2nd and 3rd might become a scrap shortly. Taylor-Smith goes over the line in 4th, in 5th it's Hill, and in 6th place it is Dan Rowbottom also on that medium tyre.
Hill now less than a second behind Aaron Taylor-Smith as he chases another position. He's in 5th at the moment, chasing 4th. We've only got 4 laps to go, so can he make up a second and pass another car in 4 laps? That's going to be a tall order, but that I'm sure is his intent. Sutton, meanwhile, is just 1.3 seconds behind Rowbottom and still closing in.
Josh Cook going side by side with Adam Morgan as they came out of Clark Curve, and Josh Cook is the last of the late breakers. Can he line up a move going into the hairpin? He's on the outside line. On the hybrid is Adam Morgan, the blue light flashing in the BMW. Cook trying to go around the outside and maybe carry the speed and momentum over the start-finish line. He's stranded on the outside now, so he's committed to that line going into Duffus. The BMW is just behind, but he's on the better line coming into turn 1, so Adam Morgan should be able to get to the corner first. Should be able to, but Josh Cook is so good on the brakes. He whips around the outside and somehow gets ahead of the BMW. Another terrific move in the long list, the book of fantastic moves that we've had from Josh Cook.
That is a superb piece of driving from Josh Cook. Morgan was 8 thousandths of a second ahead of him as they crossed the line, but Josh Cook, superb there, and deservedly takes that position. He's already pulled a few car lengths clear, such as the momentum he's gained now that he's past Adam Morgan.
Oh, it's a mega move, wasn't he? So brave, Josh Cook. He's so almost sort of downbeat when you hear him being interviewed by Alan. So calm, so relaxed. You can't imagine he's so feisty in the car, but he's a
most
proper
of
fighter.
the time he's smiling. Most of the time he's got this just quiet confidence. It's just something else.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. Now we've got Dan Rowbottom versus his teammate, the reigning champion Ash Sutton. They go over the line with 2 laps to go, almost nose to tail in 6th and 7th positions, going through Duffus, down through Leslie's, and he's onto him now, under braking on the way into the right-hander through McIntyre's. They go down into Butcher's, up the hill now into the chicane. This is where Ash Sutton carries lots of speed coming out of the chicane. He's on the soft tyre. Dan Rowbottom is on the medium tyre, remember. But he's a soft tyre, obviously isn't going off at the end of the race, even though the track temperature is fairly high. And Ash Sutton is the one applying all of the pressure here in this battle.
Yeah, 1.5 laps to go for these guys, so it's just coming down to about 2 miles of the race remaining for Ash Sutton as he continues to pressure his teammate Dan Rowbottom into the hairpin. He's got an overlap, he's got a long side. Now it's a drag race up the main straight. Ash Sutton, though, has the right-hand side of the road, which is the advantage for Duffus when they get there. So Ash Sutton should be able to get this done as they get into the braking area. And Ash Sutton is through, up another position. Fantastic drive from Ash Sutton to come through now into the top 6.
Yeah, saved his hybrid, didn't he, for the last couple of laps as well. He was on it going into the hairpin. He got back on it over the start-finish line. So wise saving of only 3 laps worth of hybrid for the reigning champion. And Ash Sutton then, as you say, from 12th up to 6th place now.
Yeah, the other battle that was starting to build nicely is Jake Hill as he chases down Aaron Taylor-Smith, and he's almost caught him. He was right behind him going through the chicane. He's almost within striking distance as they get towards the hairpin for the second last time.
Checkered flag comes out and Colin Turkington takes his 71st victory in the British Touring Car Championship. A great drive from Josh Cook to come home in 2nd place. Adam Morgan comes home in 3rd. It's been a while since we've had Adam on the podium. Good drive from him. At 4th place to Aaron Taylor-Smith, 5th, but the leading car on the mediums and closing the gap to just 10 points in the championship to Tom Ingram, who retired. Jake Hill will be thrilled with that. And then Ash Sutton comes through from 12th to 6th in the number 1 car. He also closes the gap to Tom Ingram in the championship. He was 29 points behind. He's just scored 10 points, so he's got the gap down to 19, 3rd in the championship. And I think Jake Hill down to 10 points behind Tom Ingram. It's all squeezing up, and of course Tom is going to be behind them on the grid, at the back of the grid for race 2. So 20 Turkington wins, 66 Cook in 2nd, 33 Morgan in 3rd, 40 Taylor-Smith in 4th, but it's another independence class win, so he will be on the podium for the 11th time this season as an independence trophy race winner to extend his advantage in that championship. 24 Hill in 5th, number 1 Sutton in 6th, number 32 Rowbottom in 7th, number 12 Huff in 8th, 27 Camish in 9th, Doble, number 88, in 10th place. Down to 11th in the end after his grassy moment was number 11, Watson. 12th, number 77, Osborne, with a good drive to points. The 222 car of Smiley for Restart Racing comes home 13th. Tom Chilton, number 3, 3rd best of the medium shod cars. The rest of the runners now, all on the medium tyre. He was 14th. 15th was Daryl de Leon, another championship point for Daryl. And then Aidan Moffat was just outside the points in 16th place in car 16. 17th for Ronan Pearson, number 14. 18th, number 29, Sumpton. 19th, number 22, Halstead. And the only retirement was the championship leader after that contact and damage to the front left of the car and the tyre for Tom Ingram when he had it coming together with Aidan Moffat. So non-finish, no points for only the second time this season for Tom Ingram. And the bonus point for fastest lap to Colin Turkington. So he gets a very handy 20 points for the win, point for fastest lap, and he also gets a point, of course, for leading a lap.